There are moments in life that make us stop and fall silent. Moments when, amid the rush of the world, a pair of small eyes waits for a miracle. This is the story of a mother dog, paralyzed, abandoned, and helpless, and her two tiny puppies, left alone in the middle of an empty road. But one act of kindness from strangers changed everything and brought them back to life. It was noon. The sun was burning on the long, empty road when a man on a motorcycle suddenly stopped. There, in the middle of the lane, sat a frail dog, thin, trembling, and unable to move her back legs. She sat flat on the hot asphalt, her eyes weary and fearful. Beside her were two tiny puppies, one black, one cream, shaking and hiding behind her. Cars passed by without slowing down. No one stopped. The mother dog only lowered her head, her ears drooping, her gaze following each vehicle that passed. She seemed to be waiting for someone, or perhaps just trying to protect her children one last time. Maybe she had been there for days. Beneath her matted fur were old wounds and scars. Her back legs were thin and stiff, dragging painfully across the rough ground. But what broke everyone's heart the most was her eyes. The eyes of a mother who refused to give up. She didn't bark. She didn't growl. She simply watched, silent and cautious. Even in pain, she would drag herself forward whenever someone came too close, just to shield her puppies with her body. A small group of people happened to pass by. They stopped, got off their bikes, and slowly approached. One woman whispered, "She's hurt, but she's still protecting her babies." A man pulled some food from his bag, placed it on the ground, and stepped back quietly. The mother watched them carefully, her eyes darting between the food and her puppies. Then she slowly dragged herself closer, still looking back, still uncertain. No one spoke. Only quiet sympathy filled the air. After nearly half an hour of patience, the puppies finally approached the rescuers, sniffing curiously, wagging their tiny tails. The mother watched carefully. When she saw her baby safe, she finally lowered her head and began to eat. That moment of trust, small, fragile, but powerful, was the first step toward her rescue. One of the rescuers ran back to fetch a cage, a blanket, and clean water. They agreed they had to take all three to safety. The mother was lifted gently into a pink metal crate. As soon as the door closed, she turned her head frantically, searching for her puppies. A rescuer said softly, "Don't worry, your babies are right here." Her nose pressed against the cage bars, and she finally sat still, exhausted but calm. Perhaps for the first time, feeling safe. The car began to move. Inside, the mother dog stayed awake, eyes wide open, watching the world pass by through the gaps in the cage. She couldn't walk, but her heart was strong. No more barking, no more fear. Just quiet determination and love. At the clinic, the doctors examined her immediately. The results left everyone speechless. Both back legs were severely injured. Her nerves crushed, and part of her muscles had already begun to rot. The vet whispered, "She needs surgery now, or she won't survive the night." No one hesitated. They all nodded. The operation began. In that small room, under bright white lights, this little mother, once abandoned and hopeless, was fighting for her life, fighting for the chance to return to her children. She lay still on the operating table, her body trembling slightly under anesthesia. The doctors worked non-stop, cleaning the wounds, removing the dead tissue, stitching her torn muscles together. A tear dropped from one rescuer's hand. No one knew whose it was. After more than an hour, the surgery was done. She was moved to recovery, her legs wrapped in bandages, a medical collar gently placed around her neck. She opened her eyes slowly. Weak, tired, but alive. A rescuer stroked her head and whispered, "You did it. You're safe now." Her ears twitched slightly, and from the corner of her eye, a tear rolled down onto the blanket beneath her. A silent thank you that needed no words. Later that day, the two puppies were brought in. The moment they saw their mother, they whimpered softly, pressing their tiny bodies against her. She tried to lift herself, despite the pain, and gently licked their heads. The whole room fell silent. There were no words, only quiet tears. The vet smiled. She still has feeling in her legs. With therapy, she might walk again. Hope began to fill the air. Days later, a kind family offered to adopt them. They promised to care for her, to help her learn to walk again. Now, the mother dog lives in a warm home, sleeping beside her two playful puppies. Every morning, she looks toward the window, where sunlight spills onto the floor. This time, her eyes no longer show fear, only peace. From an abandoned body on the roadside, to a mother reborn through kindness, all it took was one moment of compassion, one decision to stop and care. Because sometimes, a small act of kindness can change an entire life. So if you ever see a life in need, please don't turn away. You might just be their miracle.